All right. Hello there, and welcome to day two. I'm gonna let everyone else in here. Got a few people joining us live. If you are on Facebook, I will try to keep up with the comments on there as well. I know I missed a couple yesterday. They weren't coming through on my phone right. So hopefully today we'll be able to get them. But we do have kind of a lot to cover today because we have the meditation as well. So I want to jump right into everything. If you were here yesterday, we have already met. My name is Melissa Conkling. I'm a spiritual hypnotist, writing coach, and published author. And I am really excited about today. I'm like trying to hold myself back talking about how excited it because it's kind of my two favorite things. Working with building habits, which is really what the building the writing habit is all about, is really figuring out how to make writing a habit. And then also getting into the more spiritual side of things, using your intuition, connecting with your higher self to help you write faster and clearer, to help you write more authentically, and just to really also build your habit because it helps you trust your writing in a totally different way. So that is what today is all about. So again, I forgot to start recording, so we'll do that now. So let me know how everything went with you yesterday with building your hooks. You can just put that in the comments now and let me know if you have any questions also, because I want to be able to make sure you're getting the most out of this challenge. So let me know if you have questions on the hook, and I will start talking about habits in the meantime. So when I started as a hypnotist, I started in something very, very different. I kind of was dabbling in several different things because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to focus on. I did have an idea that I wanted to go in a writing direction, but at that point in time, it seemed like such a small market that I was almost afraid to narrow myself down, as many entrepreneurs understand, because there's that, oh, but if I only have this many people, then how will I ever find the right ones? I was kind of going through the same boat. But what happened was the people that were coming to me for weight loss. And I found that I was actually really, really good at working with this, not because hypnosis makes you magically lose weight. What it does is it helps you build habits. So if it can help you build the habit to eat healthier and work out more, can also help you build the habit to write more often in the little pockets of time that you have if you are a super busy person like me. And I think that work that I had done in building habits when I was working with health and fitness and all that kind of stuff really came through in a way that I didn't even realize. Because to me, like, chances are you have heard people say the old thing of it takes 21 days to build a habit. Let me know if you've heard that one. Most of us have. And yeah, Tammy's nodding. And the fact is, you can build a habit in 21 days, but it's not an automatic thing. Um, Studies actually say that building a habit can take anywhere from 21 days at a minimum to upwards of 9 months, depending on what the habit is and how much time it takes. And most of all, how much you actually enjoy it. That is a huge part of building a habit. If it's something that you enjoy doing, building that habit is going to be easy, and you're going to make time in your schedule for it because you want to do it. Like, if you hate writing, then finding time to write your book is going to be harder to build that habit. If you love writing, it's going to be easier to find that time for it because everything works the same. And it works the same in the fact that it's individual. Everyone, like, if it just took 21 days to build a habit, then you would do something for 21 days and you would never stop doing it ever again. Because what a habit is something that you're doing subconsciously without thinking about it, without consciously saying, okay, I have to do this now. It just happens, you make time for it, and everything is great. But it takes a little more nuance to actually build your habit. So, how do we start building a habit with writing? First off, you need to be 100% realistic with when you're going to do this. and how much time you really have to dedicate to it on a regular basis. Because one of the things of building a habit is you do have to do it regularly. It doesn't necessarily need to be every single day. But if you want to say 4 days a week or 5 days a week, choose what works for you with your schedule and be 100% honest with how much time you really have to dedicate to it. As you may have seen in my post, when I started writing my book that came out in December, I started writing it in the fall, in September. And I had just started a new full-time job in the beginning of the summer. And I went from being a full-time entrepreneur, having plenty of time to do my writing, to having 9 hours in the office every day, plus 3 hours of commuting time every day. So I was leaving my house at 6:30, getting home at 6:30 at night. So I knew that by the time I got home from work, I wasn't going to be writing because I was exhausted. So what I did is I started finding little pockets of time, mainly on my lunch hour, to start writing. And I also knew that there were going to be some days that I didn't want to write because, there are other things to do, like having lunch with coworkers or, watching a different video. I have one of my training calls is actually today at 1, and I'm going to be missing it because I'm here. But it wasn't something I was going to do every day. So what I told myself is I was going to write in my office at least 3 days a week and at least for 15 minutes, not even the full hour. And what I found was that then I just did it. And I planned it out ahead of time, like what I was going to write each day, because I had figured out what my hook was. I had outlined my book. So each day I just took the next section and did a little mini outline, meditated about it so I knew what I was going to be writing about. And then when the time came to actually write, all I had to do was sit down for 15 minutes and let the words come out and not overthink it, not try too hard, just let the words come out. Because one of the hardest things about writing is when we start editing as we go along. Editing as you go is the biggest way to hold yourself back. Because what you really want to do is just get the words out, get that first draft done, and then edit from there. That's how you're going to get your draft done as quickly as possible. And it also encourages your writing habit. Because one of those things is like when we are judging our writing, we're backfiring the building of that habit. So just let the words out. Don't even necessarily read them back unless you really want to know what you wrote. Like I honestly sometimes forget what I wrote because I get in such flow. Because I use self-hypnosis because I write in my office cafeteria most of the time. So I use self-hypnosis to help tune out the outside noise, to get myself focused, and to also just get clarity on what I'm writing. And that's what we're going to talk about with the spirit guided writing process that I use. So as you start, oh, I have someone else joining me. Hold on a second. All right. So when you're building that habit, be honest with yourself. Start out small because habits that are easy to fit into your schedule as it is right now are easier to build. They're going to be the ones that you stick with long term. It's kind of like if you working out for an example, if you tell yourself you're going to walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes a day versus I'm going to go to the gym for an hour every day, which one is going to be easier for you? The one that's quick and, doesn't need to be a treadmill, could be walking around your neighborhood. Something easy that takes less time is going to be easier to fit into your schedule, especially if you're super busy like I am. So be realistic with your schedule, start small. And you may find that when you give yourself that 10 or 15 minutes to write every day, you may find that you get in a flow and you want to go longer. And that's super exciting because that just means more writing time. But the other great thing about starting small, not only does it help you build that habit faster, it also helps you know how many words you are writing in like 15 minutes. I tend to write in like 15 to 20-minute blocks. Like I'll have one idea come out and then the next idea will come out. And it's always like in 20-minute segments, just the way my mind works. But it's interesting because I know that. And I also know that per 20 minutes, I write about 500 words. So I know that if I'm doing two 20-minute segments on my lunch hour, I'm writing 1,000 words every day. So I know that it's going to take me about 50 days of writing time to write a nonfiction book, because they're usually about 50,000 words. So that helps me plan ahead. And we're obviously just talking about getting that first draft out. But when you know exactly how quickly you write, without editing, of course, then you can plan knowing how long it's going to take your book. And it feels so much less daunting than saying, I have no idea when I'm going to finish this book. Because that's what held me back from starting my book in the first place, was having that feeling of knowing that I had such little time and thinking like, I know it's only a short book that I'm writing, but I don't want it to take 6 or 9 months, considering it's only like 50 pages of an actual book. So that was daunting to me, the idea that it's going to take this long just to get this little thing done. And then I got it done in 10 days because I figured out how to write quickly, how to focus on my writing, and how to do it in those little pockets of time that I didn't even realize were there. Because I had spent my previous lunch hours walking around the city, going to parks, doing fun stuff. Because, I work in New York City, there's great things to do in the summer. And then once I decided, like, nope, it is time to write this book, I stopped doing that. I started just going to my cafeteria, which is still really nice. And we have a nice little park outside. So I got to enjoy the outside a little bit. But I made that intentional choice to only do that 3 days a week because I still wanted to be able to walk around and enjoy the city. So that's where that honesty comes in with building that habit. So this is how you really start building a habit. Don't overcommit yourself, be realistic about your schedule, and then it makes you plan so you don't get daunted by the huge task of writing the book. So that is number one on building the habit. Then comes hypnosis. How does hypnosis help you build a habit? Hypnosis basically helps you rewire your subconscious mind. And often the thing that's keeping us from doing a habit of something that we want to do, that we know is in our better interest, is a little thing called self-sabotage or limiting beliefs or all of these other things. And what hypnosis does is it helps rewire those thought patterns. It helps build healthier, more productive thought patterns because it just rewires the way your mind thinks, where the go-to thought may have been, oh, I never have time to write, I'll never get this done. I rewired my thought pattern to be like, oh, I'll do this. It's just going to be bite-sized and I'll do it in 15 minutes a day. And that became my go-to thought pattern. And I did that through self-hypnosis, getting rid of those blocks that I had, saying that it would never happen. And getting rid of those subconscious blocks is huge. And people think like a subconscious block is some magical thing that's like in your head in the way. It's not quite. It's just a limiting belief that's in your way, a story that you keep telling yourself that is a reason why you can't do something. And that story may be something you're consciously aware of. It might also be subconscious. You might not be aware of the fact that you're even doing it. That's how self-sabotage and limiting beliefs are so sneaky, is sometimes you don't even know they're there. So self-hypnosis and hypnosis in general helps you get past those blocks and like I said, it also helps you tune up the noise, it helps you focus in on your writing, and it helps you get clear on what you're writing. So that leads us into the method that I kind of created myself, which I call spirit guided writing. Now, when I say spirit guided, I am not only talking about spirit guides in general, like angels, like spirits that you may see or hear, not just talking about that. I'm also talking about connecting with your higher self, connecting with your intuition, basically connecting with those parts of you that are directly connected to the universe, source, God, whatever you choose to call it, and not relying on your conscious, logical mind. That is huge. And I think as a creative, most creatives know that it doesn't come logically. But with writing, for some reason, we still try to apply that logic to it almost all the time. And once you get rid of that conscious, logical thinking part of your mind, that's when you get into that flow state where the writing happens faster and easier. So that's what spirit guided writing really helps to do. So there are 6 steps to it, and I have a PDF on this that I will share the link for when I'm done here today. It's 6 steps to spirit guided writing. So it goes into these steps in much more detail. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly today, just because I want to leave time for the meditation. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I've also done some videos and have that PDF for all of the details and different tips on how to employ each of the steps. So the first step is preparation. When you are connecting with that spiritual side of you, whether it's your intuition, higher self, spirit guides, angels, whatever it may be, you want to prepare your mind. You need to spend a little time meditating and also just opening your mind, getting rid of that conscious, logical, almost critical part of your mind that's telling you this is a waste of time. I'll just do this logically instead. Like getting rid of that part of your mind, letting it go to the background is huge. And that's what happens in hypnosis is that critical part of your mind goes to the background and your subconscious mind, where your imagination and creativity live, comes forward. So having that time to prepare your mind through meditation, self-hypnosis, some deep breathing, whatever it may be to you, to relax and get yourself into the state. Now, this doesn't have to take a very long time. I'd usually do it for like just a couple minutes. I'm at this point in time, I can bring myself into self-hypnosis very quickly because it's something I've practiced a lot. And it's something that as you learn how to get into that state, you'll be able to do it faster and faster and faster. So yeah, preparing your mind is the number one key first step, is getting ready to connect with spirit, whatever that is for you. Next is the actual connecting part. And by connecting, like intentionally, when you're through in meditation or self-hypnosis, making the intention to connect with your intuition, to connect with your higher self, to connect with your spirit guides or angels or whatever it may be that you want guidance from. And as you do this, this is something that in itself can take a little practice even before getting the guidance on your writing. And that's why when you sign up for my course, the Creative Alchemy Collective, you also get my spirit guide course to help you build your intuition and connect with your higher self and connect with your guides, because it helps with this process so much. It kind of gives you a head start on that. So connecting with spirit, whatever that means to you, whichever type of spirit you choose, getting in touch with it. Then step 3 is, once you have connected and set that intention of connecting with your intuition, of connecting with your higher self or your guides, asking for the guidance, asking, and this is where you can ask so many different questions to help guide your writing. You can help for clarity on a certain idea. You can help for ideas in general. You can help for focus, or ask help for focus. You can ask your guides for all of these things. What I often did, and I would do this right in the morning, even before I did my actual writing, and I would ask my spirit guides or higher self, what should I write about today? What do I need to write about today? And ask for clarity on that. And I would outline, like I had a general outline, but I get more details from that. And it always flowed so easily. So requesting that guidance of being intentional of, what do I need to hear today? What do I need to write about today? What do I need for clarity on this next section of my book? Asking these questions and then taking time to actually listen to the answers. Often I do that when I'm out of meditation and I just journal as soon as I'm done, because to me as a writer, intuitive writing is one of my most common and powerful ways that I get that guidance from my intuition and higher self and guides and everything. So ask for the information and then receive the guidance. And don't second guess it. If some message keeps coming through, even if it seems a little off, make a note of it, because it might be leading you in a different direction that you didn't quite realize. Like yesterday when we were talking about how your hook may change over time. If you're getting something that doesn't quite line up, that may be a nudge that you need to make an adjustment there. So that's why the spirit guided writing can be so powerful, is that it really gets everything aligned and it helps you clarify what it is you're writing about in a totally different way. And then the next step is the writing itself. Once we have connected with spirit and received the guidance, doing the writing. And again, this is where using intuitive writing where you just let it flow, don't overthink it, don't edit as you're going along. All of this is huge. And I personally am a big believer in writing by hand. I believe it just makes the mind, body, spirit connection a lot stronger when you write by hand if you can. Obviously not everyone can. Some people prefer typing on their computer just for whatever other reason. But for me, I am a hand writer of everything, and I've done that for as long as I can remember. I wrote like 50-page research papers in grad school, writing everything by hand for my first draft. So it's just the way I write, and it probably always will be. So I also think for this, when you are on your computer and you see like the little squigglies telling you there are typos, saying that there are grammatical errors, it makes it harder to resist editing it. So writing by hand makes it easier to not edit yourself as you're going along, and it lets that flow come out in a totally different way because of that mind-body connection. So writing by hand, key. And this is how you learn how quickly you write, how much time, and like I know that on a normal standard notebook, each page for me is almost exactly 275 words. I don't know why, it just is. So again, that's how I can calculate like how much did I write today without having it on my computer. So you learn that over time once you do this enough. And so pretty much I would do 2 pages in each 20-minute segment of writing that I did, and knew that I was on target for my day. So once you have done the writing, now we get to the editing part. Now you may want to do this each day after you're writing. You may want to wait until everything is done. For me, my editing comes in when I type it. And some, like, depending on the project, I might do it like chapter by chapter. I might do it all at once. For the book that I wrote in, or that I published back in December, I wrote the entire thing and then typed the entire thing. And in that process, like editing when you're doing spirit guided writing is super important because you are not doing any editing along the way. And it's going to be where you kind of almost notice like, oh, I didn't even remember writing that. And you can flesh things out a little bit more. So editing isn't just the fixing the grammar, fixing the spelling, all that kind of stuff. It's also fleshing out ideas that came through intuitively that you realize like, oh, I need to explain this a little more. I need to add this story here. That's where the editing comes in, to really flesh things out a lot more. So that is a super important thing. You don't want to skip the editing process because we're not doing it along the way in the writing. So make sure you do editing. And in general, if you are planning on self-publishing, make sure you also budget for an editor, because even if you are a really good writer, like I consider myself a really good writer, I still hired an editor because there are things that you are going to miss because you're so close to it. And having that outside perspective, both about your idea in general and for the proofreading and all that kind of stuff, is so important because you're just too close to it. So having that extra set of eyes, kind of that first audience member, is super, super important. So just plan for that. And then the last part, and this is where the mindset comes in a lot, is finally sharing your writing. Many of us, if we are on social media a lot, if we're entrepreneurs running an online business, we are used to sharing content online. There is something mindset-wise that is very, very different about sharing your information in a book, because even though we know that stuff on the internet never really goes away, it passes through our consciousness. Like people see that post quick and then it kind of falls away, and you might see it come up in memories a year later, but it goes away. Books last forever. So it's a mindset game getting to the point of sharing that book. And that's where I personally had the most resistance, was getting from my finished second draft to publishing it. And I just kept procrastinating, and I caught myself on it because I am not a procrastinator by nature. I am a get things done as quick as possible person. So when I catch myself procrastinating, I know that something is up there. So getting through those mindset hurdles of catching yourself with that resistance of sharing your work, building the confidence to talk about your book. These are all huge parts of writing a book in general. So that is the last step, is sharing your work, because the fact is your message isn't meant to be sitting in your documents on your computer. It's meant to be shared with the world. You're meant to get that message out to people. And certain people are just out there waiting to hear your message. And if you don't ever publish your book, you're just holding them and yourself back the longer you wait. So building that confidence and getting to that point. And this is again where you can actually ask your intuition, spirit guides, whatever it may be, to help you on that next step to sharing your work, and get that guidance that way. And through hypnosis to build that confidence, to release that resistance. Huge. So those are the 6 steps to spirit guided writing: the preparation, connecting, requesting and receiving guidance, and then the practical parts, the writing, the editing, and the sharing. So those are the 6 steps. Let me know if you have any questions on any of those. And then we're going to start today's session or the meditation session. It should be about 10 minutes or so. So we're pretty much on target. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to check on Facebook quick to see if we have any comments there. All right, I don't see any yet. That doesn't mean they're not there, but whatever. We'll find out later if there are comments. Yesterday I didn't see any and then they showed up later. All right, so let's dive in to the meditation. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable, and preferably sitting with your spine upright. You can also recline or lay down if you feel called. If you are watching this while driving or doing anything that requires your full conscious attention, pause this now and come back to it later, because this meditation is a little hypnotic in nature and it's just not safe for you to be listening at this point in time. So full disclaimer, pause now if you're driving or doing anything like that that requires your conscious attention. Now that we've got that covered, go ahead, make yourself comfortable. And now go ahead and close your eyes. And you can put your hands on your lap or by your side, wherever is most comfortable for you. And now take a nice, long, deep breath in and exhale slowly. Good. Now take another slow, deep breath in and hold it for a few seconds. And as you exhale, imagine any tightness or tension beginning to easily melt away, just like wax melts off a candle, allowing you to relax a bit more with each and every exhale. And continue breathing all the way in and all the way out, relaxing and drifting deeper. And now breathe in deeply again. And as you exhale, quietly say to yourself, I give myself permission to relax and have this experience. And as we go on this journey, you'll call in and receive only the guidance of the highest good and highest benefit to you and to all now. Perfect. And now breathe in deeply again. And as you exhale slowly, focus all your attention on the top of your head. And imagine that floating just above you is a beautiful ball of golden light. And this light can be any size, any level of brightness. However you imagine it is perfect, just knowing that it represents the most calming, peaceful energy you can imagine. And as you contemplate this ball of light, it begins to shimmer and swirl, shifting around almost as if it were liquid. And this calming liquid now begins to flow down through the top of your head and spread throughout every part of your body, filling you with this calming, peaceful energy as it flows from the top of your head down through your face, through your neck, down through your shoulders, your arms, your back, your chest, down through your abdomen, through your hips and thighs, through your knees, your shins, and all the way down to the tips of your toes, filling you from head to toe with this calming, peaceful energy, bringing your mind, body, and spirit into complete harmony, ready to receive the guidance of the highest good and greatest benefit. And now, with the creative part of your mind, imagine that you are traveling to a place inside your mind, a powerful place where your imagination lives. Perhaps this place is within your head, perhaps it's within your heart, maybe it's someplace outside of your body. However you imagine it is perfect. And as you look around your imagination, you begin to notice it resembles a greenhouse with several plants growing at various stages of life. Some have just begun to sprout. Others are growing quite well. And you realize somehow that each of these plants represents an idea. And as you look at these ideas, you begin to see how they've been growing within your imagination. Some you've been consciously aware of for a while. Others have been quietly growing behind the scenes. Each is unique in its own way. Some are similar and have similar qualities, but each is unique. And as you contemplate these growing ideas, you find yourself drawn to one, a flower of some type over there. And the flower, you somehow know, represents the book you know you're meant to write. And you make your way over to this flower. And notice what you see, notice what it looks like. Notice what you feel, the energy around this flower. Notice what stage of life it's at now. Is it just beginning to grow? Or is it already in bloom, or just about ready to bloom? And now, with your subconscious mind, ask this flower what it requires from you to get to its next stage of growth. Take a few moments now to hear or sense its answer in whatever way it communicates with you. Perfect. And now, again, with your subconscious mind, ask this flower what it needs from you to reach its full potential. And take a few moments to hear or sense its answer in whatever way works best for you. Perfect. And now, ask this flower if it has any other messages to share with you at this time. And take a few moments to receive these answers, hearing or sensing its message in whatever way works best for you. And when you're ready, bring yourself back into your body, becoming fully aware, fully alert, back to your full conscious awareness. And you can take your time, and when you're ready, you may want to journal about any of the messages you received. I find that a lot of the time these messages come through after the actual session, after the meditation, and almost expand on themselves a lot in that process. So if you have a notebook and pen handy, you might want to jot things down. And if you have anything you'd like to share about that experience, this was a super quick meditation, so wanted to make sure we stayed under 40 minutes today. But this is one that I love to use. It's a variation. I go through the meditation myself, so I change it up on my own as I'm going. But having that visual of seeing my idea, however it is, and sometimes each idea comes through in a different visual. But having that ability to actually communicate with the idea helps me know when that idea is really ready to come to life and when it needs a little more time to grow. And that's why the flower for me with this one is such a great metaphor, because it's that flower growing. And sometimes you know it's ready to bloom and you're ready to write that book. Sometimes it's just hatching and you're not quite there yet. But the great thing about this is that when you learn to connect with the idea, with your inspiration, with your subconscious imagination and all that kind of stuff, you know when you are just giving yourself time to let that idea come to full fruition on its own, or when you're encountering resistance and you're getting that writer's block and you're holding yourself back for other reasons. And you learn that through practicing it more and identifying when you are running into those little things that you don't normally run into. For me, like I mentioned before, when I am procrastinating on something and it's something that I enjoy doing, that's when I almost always know that something is up. So that is today's session for you all. I hope you guys enjoyed the meditation. And tomorrow we are going to be talking about one of my favorite things, which is beginning to create the vision for your book. I feel like so often, like we use creative visualization for so many other things in our lives to think of where we want our career to go and that kind of stuff. But using it for the vision of your book can be super, super powerful as well, both for the book itself, for how you want to reach your audience, and for how your life as a writer is going to look. So we're going to dive into that tomorrow. And if you have any questions, please let me know before we hop off for the day. All right, thank you. See you tomorrow and same time, same place. And again, if you feel like sharing about your meditation experience, please go right ahead in either the comments or in the Facebook group. It's up to you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.